Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radhanatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamstra Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, and please accept my humble obeisances. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Again, welcome to everybody. So the topic of this class is Queen Kunti's mood and what we can learn from her mood in the time that we're going through right now on this planet. I wanted to ask some questions. I don't know if it's possible for a few people to answer by chat, but I just wanted to know, is there anyone there who feels any anxiety about what is happening on our planet now? Okay. I don't know if we can, are we going to get some chat answers on that or just? Nima, what do I do there? Can I?
Sorry, I didn't. I thought I was unmuted. Hare Krishna, if anyone has any response to Mataji, if you could hear her, then you can write in the chat.
Okay.
Mataji, if you could come closer, because some people can't hear you clearly.
Oh, don't. They can't hear me. Okay, I'm getting some responses here.
Yeah.
Okay. Some responses, sometimes I do get anxiety. Yes, lots of anxiety. Not about COVID, but about life in general. Yes, yes, especially about the environment. Another response, anxiety in general, but not specific to COVID-19. Anxiety about the well-being of all people. The mood of a devotee. Yes, certainly not for COVID-19 especially, but for other things. It is more of anxiety created by work, etc., work pressure, unable to control, to continue to practice devotional service in the usual way. Another person says, yes, me too, family members in Krishna consciousness. Anxiety about the future after COVID, people who don't have food and shelter, etc. Anxiety about my parents, about my progress in Krishna consciousness. The treatment and abuse of children gives me a lot of anxiety. Anxiety about what the unpredictable future will bring to me. Concerned about people who don't have enough to survive. Yes, about the relationship on this planet with everything. Okay, I think we'll stop there. Thank you very much for your response to that question. My second question is, just one word, what do you think is the main mood of Queen Kunti? Okay, surrender, faith, surrender, 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 trust, love for Krishna, bhakti, patience, strength, akinchana gochara, surrender, unflinching faith, surrender, determination, tolerance, surrender. Okay, we'll stop there. Thank you very much for responding. Really appreciating that. So the main mood that I came up with from reading the chapter on the prayers of Queen Kunti, which I've read many, many times in the past, But once again, in order to refresh myself for this class, the main mood and the word that is used so often in this chapter is the word dependence. This is a word that Srila Prabhupada uses all throughout his teachings, and all of our acharyas are using this word, the mood of dependence on Krishna. And at one point in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says that the living entity is made in such a way that he is completely happy when he is feeling himself completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna. Only then can he be happy, feeling himself completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna. So in this chapter called Prayers by Queen Kunti, she actually gives 3 prayers. She offers 3 prayers to Krishna. The first one is text 25. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. Now, if we put Queen Kunti into context of history, we see that she was living during a time of a major war, the Kurukshetra war. So war in itself is a cause of great stress and great anxiety for everyone involved. And her personal family members were involved. Her sons were fighting in that battlefield. So you can imagine the stress and anxiety that she felt during this time. Also, Srila Prabhupada explains in the Krishna book that after the war, and when they were living in the palace of Dhritarashtra, Queen Kunti felt just like a she-deer in the midst of tigers. And in this way, she was always talking to Krishna. Krishna was not physically present there, but she was always talking to him as if he were physically present. For me, that's a very beautiful meditation. Queen Kunti felt that she was like a she-deer, a very helpless, very fragile animal in the midst of tigers, Dhritarashtra and others who wanted to harm her family members like that. So in that mood, she was always feeling that Krishna was there personally present with her and talking to him. And that's what prayer is all about. Prayer is talking with God. And that's where I mentioned how when I was 7, I asked my priest, when I'm praying, who am I talking to? Because we're talking to a person. We want to know. We want to have a personal relationship. And Queen Kunti was having that personal relationship, even though Krishna wasn't there physically. And even though, she had begged Krishna, please stay. But okay, still, Krishna was personally present because she was in the mood of depending upon him. In this verse, the phrase akinchana gochara comes. So one of you have mentioned that phrase, which means Krishna who is approached easily by one who is materially exhausted. So some of us, maybe many of us, may not be materially exhausted. We may have good education. We may have a nice appearance. We may have bodily health. We may have opulences in our life. We may have wealth or some wealth. So we may think, well, how can I be in this mood of complete dependence on the Lord? Because it's explained that only one who's materially exhausted can feelingly call the name of Govinda. It's a very pertinent question. And I feel that one way that Krishna helps us is he creates a situation in which we have to feel dependent upon him. And we all go through these different situations in our lives when we call out to Krishna. And right now, in the situation that the world is in, it may be causing us to feel some more heartfelt dependence on Krishna and heartfelt dependence on our gurus. And so this is a good thing. This is a very, very positive thing for devotees especially. For those who don't know Krishna, or for those who don't have a relationship with God, it can be very daunting, very frightening. Some people in the mood of fear because their business is collapsing, or their income is going away. Some people are committing suicide because of this now. But devotees are very fortunate. I feel Krishna is giving us a special gift by putting us in this particular situation. And it's an opportunity for us to purify ourselves and to go deeper in our meditation, or deeper in our sadhana, deeper in our chanting. In other words, decreasing the level of material intoxication, as it says here in this chapter. Yeah, this is very special mercy from Krishna to us, and we're fortunate. Although we may not be going to the temple, we may not be going to our friends. There's so much devotional activity online and on our phones where we can hear more from devotees and chant more. And I hope all of you are taking advantage of that during this more quiet time. Okay, someone's asking that she missed what Akinchana Gochara means. The literal translation means it's a name for Krishna. It means Krishna, one who is approached easily by those who are materially exhausted. Okay, I'm reading some comments here. Okay. In this context, I had sent out some items for your, for you to read if you wanted to before this class. And one of them was Sat Sharanagati, which is a prayer by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and in which he delineates the six items of surrender. So we know that the 6 items of surrender are to accept whatever is favorable for our bhakti, to reject whatever is unfavorable for our bhakti, to be always meek and humble, to know that Krishna is our only protector, Krishna is our only maintainer, and to fully take shelter of Krishna. So this is very much bringing us to the verse in the Srimad Bhagavad, in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi, where Krishna says that this material energy of mine is very difficult to overcome, but those who surrender unto me, they can easily cross beyond it. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport in that verse that the material energy is not just very difficult to overcome. He said it's impossible to overcome. It's very, very strong. Maya is very, very strong. And so we can, in this mood, we can admit our powerlessness over Maya, admit our powerlessness over Maya in the form that she's coming to us now. She's coming to us in the form of something which is called COVID-19. There are many things going on even under that, and there will probably be still more things happening this year. Srila Prabhupada said in 1976 in Vrindavan at the Krishna Balaram Temple that there will be many world changes. It will be very difficult for people to live on the planet, but he said it will all take place within 1 year, which I found a very interesting comment by Srila Prabhupada. And We see that a lot of things are happening, that it's not over yet. But whatever is happening, you can be sure that this is happening just for the sake of purifying this planet, for cleansing the planet, for bringing people closer to God in whatever way that means to them, no matter what religion they're in. It doesn't matter. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur often spoke about this point of non-sectarianism, that let there be one God and one scripture. Srila Prabhupada also said this. And this situation is forcing people to come to this realization if they're so inclined, if they will take shelter of God during this time. And it's forcing us as devotees, but as devotees, we're more fortunate because we have so much knowledge about not only about God, but who God is and what is my relationship with God. We understand. When Srila Prabhupada gave initiation, he asked two questions. Who is Krishna? And what is your relationship with Krishna? Okay, very important questions. And if you read Bhagavad Gita, you'll see right in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, right on pages 4 and 5, the word relationship is used 22 times by Srila Prabhupada, just in 2 pages of the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. Relationship, so important. So we know Krishna is God. Well, what is my relationship with Krishna? Okay, so the answer to that question, Srila Prabhupada told us, is that I am an eternal servant of Krishna. I think everyone will agree. This is my relationship with Krishna, but there is much more to understand about that relationship. And Prabhupada explained this right in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. You can be in relationship with Krishna as a servant, as a friend, as a parent or a parental figure, and as a lover. So each one of us has a particular loving relationship with Krishna in one of these 4 rasas. And right in the beginning, in the introduction also of Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, he says, we are all Rupanugas. Okay, I'm going to ask you, please, anyone comment in the chat session, what does Rupanuga mean? Does anyone know the meaning of that word? A follower of Rupa Goswami, yes, yes. Again and again and again, that is coming, right? Thank you very much. Okay, very good. Next, who is Rupa Goswami in the spiritual world? Rupa Manjari, yes. Everyone is saying, very good, thank you, Rupa Manjari. So, Prabhupada says we are Rupanugas. Rupanugas, right? That means we are followers of Rupa Goswami, which means we are followers of Rupa Manjari. So that can give us some indication of who we are in the spiritual world. The sampradaya that we have joined, that Krishna has guided us to, is not an accident. There are 4 sampradayas, and each sampradaya, those who join those different sampradayas, they have different relationships with Krishna. In one sampradaya, there is a relationship where they are a mother or a father or a nurse or a parental figure of Krishna, seeing Krishna as Bala Gopal, baby Krishna. And another sampradaya, they worship Krishna in the form of Lord Vishnu. In our sampradaya, we are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has come to give Braj Prem. He's come to give what no one else has ever given. He has come to give us the highest thing. And he's come to give us the mood of the Manjaris, actually. Manjari Bhav. This is all described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The second prayer that Kunti Devi offers to Krishna, and I'm going to read that directly from the book. It's text 41. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. So this can be quite a challenging prayer for us to say, sever my tie to my family members. Even for Queen Kunti, her family members were completely pure devotees of the Lord, all of her family members. She's asking, sever my tie for my family members. This is really astonishing. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, what she is asking for is to sever any material attachment that I have. So she's not asking for to cut ties of pure devotees. She's asking for anything material that may stand in the way of her attachment. So we have bodily relationships, which are the cause of bondage, and there are soul relationships, which are the cause of freedom. So my dear devotees, my dear Prabhus, this is what we have to more and more focus on, more and more meditate upon. We have to meditate on what is my eternal relationship with Krishna, with Radha and Krishna. You know, because this is happening in the world, it really doesn't mean anything to us. Krishna says, you know, I am, for one who takes shelter of me, I am their protector. For one who died, what is it? Krishna, oh, I forget the verse. For one who takes shelter, Krishna is always there protecting. So whatever is happening in the world, in one sense, it has nothing to do with whether you live or die or whether your family members live or die. And Krishna's in charge of that. Krishna's in charge of what's happening on the planet. Krishna is arranging this so that the golden age can take place, can begin to fully manifest after this time. So it's very important for us to focus on our reality. No matter what's going on around us, whether we're in happiness or distress, to focus on the fact that I am an eternal servant of Krishna and I have a very particular, very personal relationship with Krishna. And when you're chanting the holy name, to try to connect with the holy name and to try to understand who you are, actually to pray to them, my dear Krishna, my dear Radha, who am I? What is my relationship with you? How can I serve you? You know, in a relationship, it takes two. So to some extent, we know what Krishna looks like because we have so many beautiful pictures of Krishna and we have deities of Krishna and we have just beautiful descriptions of Krishna by our acharyas. But do we know what we look like? We have to know what we look like in order, you know, who are we? What is my relationship with Krishna? This is a very important question that you can all ask during your sadhana. And this time of sadhana is just so important. We are so fortunate that we've been given this practice of bhakti by Srila Prabhupada and our gurus and all of our acharyas. It's just unbelievable how fortunate we are. You know, we have the Maha Mantra, which is the meditation for this age. Many people don't know about this. This is why it's our responsibility to give this to others and not to be satisfied just to have it ourselves. But like Prahlad Maharaj had that desire to give the benediction, Krishna's benediction to all others, we also have to pray like that. But very importantly, we have to pray that we ourselves have that relationship. So we have to be in balance between the two. Like Srila Prabhupada, he sent this very famous letter to Rameshwar Prabhu. Yes, the preaching of The holy name is very important. The distribution of books is glorious. I am so pleased by this Sankirtan mission and what you devotees are doing. But right in the very last sentence, he said, but first, you must become strong in your relationship with Krishna. This was the last sentence in that letter that he sent this my god brother. So we have to have a balance of serving and giving to others, but also be very mindful and very focused. What is my relationship with Krishna? And what is my relationship with Srimati Radhika? Srila Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. She is a very beautiful young Manjari, and she is always in the mood of service. All of our Goswamis are Manjaris, and they are in the mood of service to Shishi Radha and Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Rupa Goswami to Vrindavan, and in order to excavate the holy places there, to establish temples, and to write devotional literatures. And our Goswamis, they have written so many beautiful literatures that Srila Prabhupada has encouraged us to read. He encourages us in the Krishna book, Chaitanya Charitamrita also, to read the books of the Goswamis, which help us go deeper in our sadhana. Very, very important. First, we read Srila Prabhupada's books, then we read the books of the Goswamis. This is very important to enhance our sadhana, to broaden our sadhana, and to deepen our sadhana. One very nice devotee has been giving classes lately. He's a disciple of Radhanath Maharaj. His name is Radhe Shyam. He spoke about the mood of dependence also, and specifically in our japa. And he said, rather than chanting so many mantras in a row, so many rounds in a row, just focus on one mantra at a time, one block at a time. One mantra in which you zoom in and speak to Radha and Krishna and offer your heart and offer your mood of dependence to them. One mantra at a time. This is very beautiful. This will put you into spiritual time. Spiritual time means everything is always in the present. Always everything is expanding in the presence. Not no past, no future, everything in the present. So we have to be in the present when we're chanting our japa. So the class that Radhe Shyam Prabhu gave was very helpful to me personally in my own chanting. And I hope that is helpful to you also. The third prayer that Kunti Devi offered to Krishna, and I'll read that, is text 42 from chapter 8. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. This is also an amazing prayer. Let my attention be constantly attracted to you without being diverted to anything else. So it's explained that the Ganges is very powerful river. And even if there are some very large logs or stones or any kind of obstacles, it still keeps flowing. It just keeps going around the obstacle and continues to flow. This is what Kunti Devi is asking for. Let my attraction be drawn to you like this, no matter what obstacle comes in my life. And believe me, there will be obstacles. Prabhupada said, don't think now that I am devotee, now no more suffering. No. And he gave the example of the Pandavas and Kunti Devi and Draupadi, how much suffering they went through. So there will be, as long as we have the human form of life, the human body, as long as we're in the material world, there will be problems, there will be difficulties. So, as devotees, we don't really have to worry about anything like this. any duality of this material world, because that's not who we are. We're eternally related to the Lord. That's our reality. And this is what we want. We want to be in the reality, not in the daydream. Srila Prabhupada said, at night we dream, and then we wake up and we think, oh, that was just a dream. Now I'll go on into my real life. He said, but no. What we're calling our real life is also a dream. It is the daydream. So we have to break out of this dream also, my dears. And this is not easy because we identify with it so much. We identify with our body, we identify with our family members and so many things. So we can take shelter of these great personalities who are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, like Queen Kunti, who is offering this very special prayer. Let my attraction be drawn to you, just like the Ganges River swiftly flows into the ocean. Radhe Shyam Prabhu was also saying that how Maya acts in our life. He said, you walk into a room and someone has the television on and you just stand in the back and you think, oh, this is Maya, but I'll just watch for 5 minutes. But it doesn't always happen like that. We get pulled in, and this is how Maya works. He said, Maya will never say, give me your whole life. Maya will only say, just give me 5 minutes, because that's all it takes. She will ask for 5 minutes, and then, oh, this extra biscuit or this television show or whatever. This is how Maya works. So we want to be fortified against Maya. And what is our fortification? You know, so many people, there are many spiritual people on this planet who are acting in goodness now. They are vegetarian, they are doing yoga, they are working for the welfare of people on this planet. There are many good people. There are some good people acting as puppets to bring the world into a better place. But as devotees, we have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Many people don't have this, although it is being spread more and more, and Kirtan is being spread all over this planet. Recently, I saw online that the famous actor Will Smith, who's read Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and loves it so much, he's preaching it to others. His daughter Willow, she has recently teamed up with one of our young devotees here at Bhaktivedanta Manor, Janavi Dasi. She's the daughter of Kripamoya Prabhu and Guru Charana Padma. And they are teaming up and singing together and doing kirtan together. And their kirtans are going viral all over the whole internet. So this is very, very wonderful. So kirtan is spreading wider and wider on this planet. And we are part of that. And so, you know, we try to bring this to others, but also try to, as I said before, try to go deeper in your own chanting. So in relationship to this third prayer, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be pulled toward you. We are so blessed to have been given this Mahamantra, which embodies both Shakti and Shaktiman. That is the energy and the energetic. That is both Radha and Krishna. Now, understanding this, we can pray to them to awaken our dependence and awaken our sincerity and awaken our pure love for them. So I just wanted to conclude by speaking about the importance of our quality chanting, quality sadhu sangha, quality reading, quality hearing, quality studying, either by ourselves or in association of devotees. When I first joined the movement back in and my journey of okay, when I first started studying Srila Prabhupada's books, my journey into Srimad Bhagavatam, I started rising 3:30 in the morning and started going through the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the way I studied was reading and then taking notes of those parts of the Bhagavatam which I felt were important for me to remember. So I did this 9 times in my devotional life. And so reading and taking notes is very important. But also along with that is trying to share what you've read with others. Call someone up on the phone and share something, what you've read. This is very important because Srila Prabhupada explains that hearing is more important than reading. He says that in the first canto of the Bhagavatam. So give someone else the chance to hear, and give yourself the chance to explain something that you've read or that you've heard, so that you will benefit from that by hearing it again. It will go deeper into your consciousness, and it will go deeper in, and it will go into the other person's consciousness also. So also, even before this lockdown situation happened, I was reading with other devotees on the phone, and we were discussing Harikatha, so that you can get in touch with devotees from all different parts of your country and all different parts of the world, and read together from the books that are important to you, and study and ask questions of each other and discuss these points. Prabhupada used to say threadbare. Discuss these points threadbare. Very, very important. This will help us go deeper into our spiritual consciousness, deeper into our ability to understand who we are as eternal beings. So yeah, this is covering the sadhu sangha, reading, hearing, and studying. And again, I encourage you to really, really focus on your chanting. I have to say this because they say when you give a class, it's the thing that you most need to speak about for your own welfare, for your own enhancement of Krishna consciousness. It's the thing I most need to hear, is to be able to really focus on my chanting and really, really dive deep into hearing and the Maha Mantra, and praying to the Maha Mantra, and also maybe sometimes remembering any pastimes. So yeah, I will stop there, and we'll ask if there are any questions.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for that amazing talk. I really learned so much. We have a few questions. Some people would like to ask it live, so I just want to unmute one of them. Okay, Sapana, are you ready?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, accept my humble audiences onto your lotus feet.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you for coming in. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances.
I'm Sapna from Nepal.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Mataji, I have a question that why we are known as Rupa Goswami followers, as Sanatana is elder than Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami himself considered himself as a disciple of Sanatana Goswami. Then why we are known as Rupanuga? Why we are not known as Sanatana followers?
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, because he considered himself a disciple Sanatana Goswami, who is Vilas, no, that's Jiva Goswami. I forget who Sanatana Goswami is. Very nice question. Thank you. Rupa Goswami, actually, Rupa Manjari, she's actually in charge of all the Manjaris. And she is directly following Lalita Devi. So Lalita Devi, she is in our, we are following her, and Rupa Manjari is following her. So we are following Rupa Manjari. So we pray directly to her.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Sapna.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there's another question about Rupa Manjari, and she just, one of the ladies wanted to know if you could give the qualities of Rupa Manjari and more insight into the topic. I guess it's been a recurring question, so I thought I'd bring it up.
More insight into the qualities of Rupa Manjari. Who is Rupa Manjari?
That's what they just said. Oh, you mean Rupa Goswami, sorry.
Oh, Rupa Goswami. Okay. Okay.
Good. You want me to read the question again?
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Rupa Goswami was very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's one pastime where he, in Jagannath Puri, he waited to meet with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he wrote one description of the mood of Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Radha's mood of missing Krishna. And he wrote this down, and Lord Chaitanya, and he wrote this on a palm leaf and put it on in the rooftop of the shed that he was in the little hut. And afterwards, Lord Chaitanya came and he found that note and he read that, and he was very much overwhelmed in ecstasy that, oh, Rupa Goswami, he has really understood my mood. To get Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't have the exact prayer that he had written down, but anyway, he was very, very, very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so, yeah, even though he took shelter of Sanatana Goswami, who, because, you know, as devotees, even if someone is already fixed in their swarup, in their eternal form, already so advanced. Of course, we know the Goswamis, they're Nitya Siddha devotees, they're eternally perfected souls. They're not ordinary jivas like we are. So, but still, they act to set example. So they take initiation from other great souls. But still, Rupa Goswami is considered the head of the Goswamis. And he was, there's a whole conversation between him and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives instruction to him how to live a perfect life of a devotee in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so then, yeah, he sent Rupa Goswami to Vrindavan, from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan, as I said, to establish temples, to excavate the holy places there, which had been covered over, to write devotional literatures. So, and you know, we have so many books by Rupa Goswami. We have the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Prabhupada called Nectar of Devotion. It's a summary study. We have Upadeshamrita, the Nectar of Instruction, and we have so many beautiful books like Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. These are very beautiful descriptions of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, which you can dive into. They're very, very beautiful, which can help you in your sadhana and so help you to come closer to who you are as an eternal being. I hope that answers your question more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. I really liked that response. We have a lot of feedback from Facebook. They really enjoyed your class, and they said it's very practical knowledge, and they really appreciated it and all the points that you mentioned. One of the questions was also, well, for me personally, is that I also try to look for more female role models in the Shastra. And if you could maybe recommend some inspiring women in the Shastra for us to look for as Vaishnavis, yeah.
Oh, okay. Queen Kunti is usually mentioned right away. Sita Devi, also the very famous chaste wife of Lord Ram. Gandhari is also mentioned as famous chaste wife of Dhritarashtra. Just imagine the kind of pain that she went through during that war, because she lost all of her sons. She followed her husband, but she also was very angry with her husband for doing the things that he did. And she let him go. At the end of his life, when took Dhritarashtra to the forest, Gandhari followed. So yeah, there are different examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam. My mind's gone a bit blank on this. I'm sure others of you could be thinking of other famous women personalities. And if you like, you can write it up in the chat. That would be nice. And somebody is asking me on the chat, please, could you answer some of the questions on this chat? Should I go to those now, Toshini?
I've been reading out most of them.
There is another. Okay.
There is another one. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for being with us today. Would you please be able to repeat the 6 items of surrender?
Okay, yeah. Wait 1 second. I'm just going to read them directly. Give me the blue songbook, Nina. The 6 items of surrender are to accept whatever is favorable for your devotional service, to reject whatever is unfavorable, to feel yourself always humble and meek, to fully know and understand that Krishna is my only protector, to understand that Krishna is my only maintainer. And the last one, I always forget, but I don't know if I can find it here. 40. Just going to read from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, if I can find it.
It almost sounds like it's the qualities that Rupa Goswami writes in Nectar of Instruction.
Yes, that's right.
Like that. Yeah.
Do you have that in front of you there?
No, I can just remember it. I think it's accepting what's favorable or unfavorable, not to follow the rules and regulations without.
Oh no, that's Nectar of Instruction. Yeah, those are not the actual 6 items.
But it sounds similar.
It's very similar, yes, to always associate with devotees, to avoid non-devotee association. But the 6 items of, I'm just struggling to find the last item.
Okay.
Oh, I found it. Here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Accepting whatever's favorable, rejecting whatever's unfavorable, humility. Yeah. So, accepting Krishna as your only protector, accepting Krishna as your only maintainer, and self-dedication or self-surrender, which is what I said before. So those are the 6 items of surrender. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Mataji. Someone also asked, what is the best cure for fear?
Oh. They say that the opposite of fear is faith. It's a famous saying. The opposite of fear is faith. Abhina, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, there's a verse which explains that fear is caused by one thing, and that is identification with the material body. So that's a very good question, especially on this topic. Thank you for that, because as long as we're identifying with the body and the extensions of this body, we can feel so much fear. But if we begin to identify with our real self, that fear will disintegrate. And it's very interesting. I was listening to an interview with David Icke, and he says, he's talking about all the things that are happening on the planet. And the interviewer said to him, oh, you know, after listening to all these things that you've said, people may become very depressed. So what
Yes.
will you? And I thought his answer was very interesting. He said, your self-identification. Really,
that's true.
your self-identification. Well, I believe he's probably an impersonalist, so he's not thinking of an eternally spiritual personal being in relationship with Krishna. He's thinking with the spiritual side of ourselves, with the, you know, with the spiritual energy and not the material energy. But this is how we become free of fear, by identifying ourselves with who we really are. Think about that and meditate on that. You're not this body. I said, one of my godbrothers, he said that he was in Japan and Srila Prabhupada came to visit him there. And he said every single day for 1 month, Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture and he said, you are not this body. Every single, and it was Borjan Prabhu, and he said, I was beginning to think, Prabhupada, we already know this. Why do you keep saying this over and over? And then he said, the last day of the month, he said, it hit me like a stone on the head. He said, that actually, I really have not realized that I'm not this body. That's why I need to hear it from you more and more and more. And as you progress in your devotional service, you will meet certain Shiksha gurus who will give you more knowledge, more information about who you are. As you read these scriptures, you will go deeper and deeper. They will come to life to you more and more, so that you will be able to understand that you're not the body. But not only understanding that you're not the body, but begin to understand who you are. Okay?
Thank you, Mataji. I actually remember someone telling me that once you realize that you're not this body, then everything changes. The way you see the world, the way you see everything. So
Right.
Thanks for that point. Another question is, to be equiposed and not be affected by dualities, does it depend on the depth of our japa and our level of surrender?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To be equipoised and not be affected by duality, again, it has to do with who we're identifying with. Who am I? Am I this body? Am I a member of this family? No. This is all temporary. It's all part of the daydream. By understanding that, and how can we understand that? Is by breaking through these layers of conditionings, layers of false ego, which block us from seeing who we are and from seeing who Krishna is. Breaking through those layers. How do we do that? Yes, the holy name is like a very fine instrument. Like if you could picture like a streak of lightning, just breaking through all the layers of our conditioning, breaking through our false ego, so that we will gradually understand, yes, who I am and what is my relationship with Krishna. So sadhana, yeah, very, very important to do very fixed and focused sadhana every day. One of my really dear godbrothers, Rahini Nandan Prabhu, I remember, I'll never forget something he said. He said, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I tell myself, there is nothing more important than chanting my 16 rounds.
Jai Hari Bol.
Nothing. So, do whatever you have to do, take a shower or just wash your mouth out, whatever you do, or have to read something, but you go and you fix yourself. First thing, fix yourself on the holy name. That will disintegrate the layers of falseness, the layers of material energy that block you from your relationship with Krishna.
Wow, I like that. Really, oh, that's amazing to wake up and think that there's nothing more important than chanting. I hope that one day I can wake up and just be eager for chanting.
You can wake up and tell yourself that. First thing.
There's another comment and a question. I think it's such a powerful prayer of Queen Kunti to sever familial ties. You mentioned that she asked to sever the material ties. In this case, what does it mean to have spiritual attachment to one's family? What is the gold standard with your family?
Okay, thank you for that question. What does it mean to have a spiritual relationship with your family? Yes, to sever my ties to my kinsmen doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to go take sannyas or or I'm just going to go and live in Vrindavan. Not necessarily. We can do that if we want to do that, or we feel the pull to do that, but it doesn't mean that. But it means being conscious of who you are and who are your family members. They're also not their bodies. They also have very particular personal loving relationships with Radha and Krishna. They are also manjaris, perhaps, or maybe in some other ras. But they have an eternal relationship. One day your body's going to die. One day their bodies are going to die. We know this. We have to focus on who they really are. And we love them and we serve them as devotees of the Lord. We offer prasadam to our deities and we give them the prasadam. We clean the house so that everyone is in a peaceful and pristine condition so that their consciousness can be clean. We're serving the devotees, as we serve Krishna and Radha and serve ourselves.
Thank you. I'm just reading some comments of people suggesting powerful women in our Shastra. They've written Janavamata, consort of Nityananda, Devahuti, wife of the Brahmins, and the Nagapatnis.
Very good.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you for the share.
The wives of the Kaliya serpent. Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were devotees of Krishna. And
100%. They prayed for their husband's safety or the deliverance of their husband.
They prayed to Krishna to save his life, and because they were devotees, Krishna fulfilled their desire.
Okay, so there's more comments. I don't know if there's any questions on Facebook. If someone can.
Somebody's asking to see the deities.
Okay.
Somebody asked me if they could see the deities here, so I'm going to ask my son.
To you privately. Okay, yeah, sure. We can show the deities.
Thank you for your beautiful comments that I'm reading now that you're appreciating, class. Thank you so much.
And some asked, are there going to be more classes like this from you?
If you like, I would love to. Thank you. Yeah, if Sharadia Prabhu would like to set something up, I would love to do that, because for me, it helps me in my devotional life to know that I'm going to give a class and I have to study for that class, and I'd really love to do that. So please make it known to Sharadia or myself on Facebook. I'm just on Facebook as Jagatam Dasi. I'd love to make a connection with you.
Cool. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
So are we going to see the deities, or should we look for more questions?
Yeah, you can do more questions.
Okay, this one was they agree with your philosophical perspective, but here we are dealing with criminal recurrences against children, among others. I believe that it is necessary to go a judicial institution, extra institution, etc. Queen Kunti, in this case, cannot put criminals behind bars. So it's a bit of a, I guess, political.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. It's very topical. My view on that is that, you know, in the world at any one time, there will be a polarity between good and evil. Srila Prabhupada said in 1976 in Vrindavan that the world will polarize into good and evil. We see that that's happening on this planet right now. Extreme polarization, extreme evil. But where's the good? But we know there is good. And my understanding, my theory on this is that there are certain personalities who are being used as instruments of good in this world, working on the level, the material level, the level of the material energy. Like we know Krishna's working from the spiritual level, and devotees are working from the spiritual level by doing kirtan and preaching and so forth. But there are some personalities who are working on the material level to spread goodness. Like they are, from what I understand, this lockdown, this can't be verified in Prabhupada's books or anything, but this lockdown is being used as an opportunity to smash out all these big demons who are on this planet, like the pedophiles and the human traffickers and all these personalities who are doing these things. Because while people aren't engaging in work and going out and about, it, and you know, even maybe even the internet might be turned off at one point, but there are some personalities who are zoning into these evil personalities. So this is happening on a material level.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about that. I'm sorry, but you can take part in good activities like that if you like. But the highest welfare work, Prabhupada said, is to give people Krishna consciousness. And in order to do that, you have to be Krishna conscious.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. I actually wanted to say something that I know you were nervous about giving this talk, and it was so beautiful, and we really felt your energy through this digital format and everything you mentioned. Oops.
Oh,
Jai, Haribol. Beautiful
was
darshan. Thank you.
That's my Radha Govinda.
Radha Govinda ki jai.
Actually,
Beautiful.
Krishna came to me first, and then only later did Radha come. And die.
Jai Gonitai.
Giriraj is also
Beautiful
there.
deities.
Nima, can you point to Giriraj?
Giriraj.
Yeah, there's no face painted, but this Giriraj came very special to me in Vrindavan. I was listening to some lectures where it was being described that Lord Chaitanya is so much in the mood of, is Krishna being so much in the mood of Radharani that we can say that he is Radharani, but Krishna is inside. And I was hearing lectures about this recently, that Krishna is inside in the heart of Radharani. So this particular Giriraj, I don't think you can see, but you probably can't see from that picture. but there's a streak of black going right down the middle of that Giriraj. So just as I was hearing these lectures, I was thinking of Radharani with Krishna in the middle, Krishna in her heart. That's what that Giriraj means to me.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for the darshan.
That's mercy of my son, because I probably wouldn't have been able to do that. This is Nimai, by the way. Nimai.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Hi, Krishna Nimai. Thank you for helping us.
Yeah, you just went in briefly, Nimai. Yeah. Someone was asking me to. Oh, are we finished? Is our time up now?
I don't see any more questions. I don't know if I missed anybody out.
Someone was asking.
Did you ever serve in South Africa?
No, that was my god sister Jagannateshwari, and she's also going to be giving you a class, I believe, tomorrow. In fact, we were initiated on the same day in Vrindavan, and we're really close in age, and we're both living here in the UK. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm just going through this.
Someone was asking if I could tell some of my Sankirtan stories. Do we have time?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, when I was a full-time teacher, and I was getting my master's degree when I decided to move into the temple. And my university was right across the street from the temple, so the temple authorities said that was fine. And but the more I read Srila Prabhupada's books, the more I understood that actually I don't need to go any further in my material education. I am understanding everything now. My purpose of material education was to become a teacher and to teach people how to become happy. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to open a school for neglected children and have like that. That's what I wanted to do. But I saw that everything that I needed to know was in Srila Prabhupada's books. So I stopped in the middle of getting my master's degree, and I just lived full-time in the temple. But on the second day of living full-time, they gave me a whole big stack of books, and they said, go out and distribute these books. And I said, oh no, I've never done this before. I don't really even fully understand the philosophy. I don't know how I can do this. And they said, don't worry, Krishna will help you. So I took this whole big stack of BTGs and walked down the road, and I just started meeting different students and just giving the BTG and showing them pictures of Krishna and just saying, well, this is Krishna, isn't he beautiful? And they go, oh, he's so beautiful, you know. And by the end of the day, I came back, no books left, and a big pile of Lakshmi in my bag. And they couldn't keep me back in the temple after that.
Wow.
They couldn't keep me back. One day our Tulsi Devi got sick, and they said, you know, please, you have to stay back and you have to nurse Tulsi. But I did, so I had to do that. But otherwise, they could not keep me back. And that was my Life and Soul book distribution. As I said in my, maybe you didn't read, in my bio, it said, I was distributing books on the streets of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia then when I moved to London, and the airports also. And the end of the day, I used to think that I couldn't go back to the temple now because there's still people on the street, so how could I leave? But we had to go back so that we could start our next day with our sadhana in the morning and get our spiritual strength to go back out again. But book distribution for me was the most glorious, most wonderful activity. And it's the most satisfying activity. And you really feel how pleased Srila Prabhupada is when you do that service, and how pleased Krishna is, how pleased Lord Chaitanya is. I have many Sankirtan stories, but now's not the time.
You can share. We have 8 more minutes if you would like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, one time, I remember Tripurari Swami, he used to tell about his Sankirtan stories and how determined you have to be, because sometimes you have days where nobody stops for you. when you're out in the street. Although I have to give a little sideline on that, it seems like nowadays preaching online is becoming even more important. We can sell books online. But anyway, when we're out in the street, sometimes we're approaching people and it seems like nobody's stopping. And one day I had a day like that, which was unusual for me because usually, at least at one point, people would stop and take a book and I would be able to distribute many books. But this one day, it was like the whole day, probably from about 9:30 till 4:30, practically no one stopped for me. And it was so disheartening. And I was praying to Krishna, what do you want from me? Wow, please use me as an instrument. So as I was walking back to the temple, which was Bury Place in London that day, there was this bus parked right near the temple, this huge tourist bus. And I just decided to walk on that bus. And it was a whole busload of young students from France. And I held up my books and I explained what they were. And every single person on the bus took a book. That was nice.
Wow, that's ecstatic. I mean, I have my own personal problems distributing books. I can stand in one position, transfixed with the books in my hand, trying to speak to the first person or any person that walks by. So thank you for the inspiration. I feel book distribution is not so prominent anymore, but I think we can learn a little bit of methods of going online, like Vaisheshika Prabhu is doing. I mean, during this lockdown, he sold so many books online. So we have to.
Oh yeah, no, it's a perfect opportunity for us to learn how to do that. There's so many opportunities to go on Facebook, to share books on Facebook, to share quotes, to share pictures on the different forums that are available. I mean, I haven't explored them all myself, but there's so many opportunities. But as far as if you do get the chance to go out again on the street, just remember that you're an instrument.
Yes.
And Krishna, just pray to Lord. I used to just pray constantly to Lord Chaitanya. Please use me as an instrument.
Okay, thank you so much again for your
one question.
Yes.
Should we stop there, or just one question?
No, you can go ahead. I was
Somebody's
going to send
asking,
these questions to
we
you.
go out for book distribution. I'd like to ask that person to answer her own question.
Saradia Rasa. It's a Facebook question. We wouldn't be able to see the comment on Zoom, unfortunately.
Oh, why is that?
It's from Facebook. It says.
Okay.
Yeah, unless we go online and check it.
What should we do before we go out for book distribution? Should I visit the ISKCON locally to acquire books? I'm just starting my journey, so I haven't visited an ISKCON locally yet. Yes, you can do that if the ISKCON temple is open. It may not be open right now, but you can order Srila Prabhupada's books online, krishna.com. There's many different places. Just look up books by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, books by Srila Prabhupada. You can order them. There are bookstores where you can order. Many questions coming in about guidance on book distribution. I guess that's a different topic, Toshini, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's an important topic because I feel in this time, a lot of people are, as you said, going deep into themselves and trying to learn more about themselves. And if they have access to books, but we have this limitation of going out and distributing books. So I think as many opportunities we get online to talk about the books that we are reading, Srila Prabhupada's books. I would also like to send these questions to you, and then you could maybe type out these answers, and then we can post them on our Facebook page, make them available to the members, because there are some questions that we didn't get to or maybe got lost within the chat.
One
And
question that someone's very anxious to be answered is, what should we do with children about sadhana?
yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. It depends on the age, of course. It depends on the age of your children. But Srila Prabhupada always said that whatever you're doing, they will follow. The child is so malleable, especially from the age of birth on up to the age of 5. And whatever he sees the parents doing, he will do. If he sees the parents bowing down in front of Krishna, he will also do that. If he sees the parents reading and discussing Krishna consciousness, he will start to do that. I know one of my friends, she would always play cassette tapes for her son to listen to the pastimes of Krishna. And one time we were all in a bus on our way to a festival in Europe. And this boy, because he heard these pastimes throughout his whole childhood, he actually got up in the bus and started telling the pastimes to the people on the bus. So whatever they're exposed to, they're going to imbibe. And especially from his loving parents. If the parents are loving, they discipline with love, they give so much love and support to the child will be very attracted to Krishna consciousness.
Jai, thank you. There are many more questions, but we've
Yeah.
reached our time. And I just
Okay.
want to thank you again, Mataji, for giving us this opportunity to hear from you. And I know everyone who's listening on the Zoom and on Facebook are so grateful to have the opportunity to hear from senior Vaishnavis like yourself. And Sadhvi Sangha, our team will definitely invite you again and get you to speak more on this topic and any topic from you. It's nectar. Thank you again.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so
Jai.
much.